Hello, boys and girls. It's story time, and we're going to talk today about Noah and how he built the ark and saved all the animals after God decided to flood the world. So we'll start the story. The Lord was full of sorrow. Everywhere he looked on earth, there was violence and unkindness. Kind of like what we've got today. A lot of people aren't very happy, are they? He was sorry that he had made man and decided to destroy his creation by causing a great flood to sweep over the world. But there was one good man among the bad by the name of Noah, and the Lord spoke to him. "Noah," said the Lord, "you must build an ark so that your family can escape the flood." He told Noah how to build the ark and asked him to gather 2 of every animal and bird and put them on board so that they might escape the flood too. Noah listened and obeyed the Lord. He set out about building the ark as he had been instructed. He built a huge boat out of cypress wood. It had 3 decks or floors and a roof. So you can imagine how big this boat's going to be because he has to have all the animals in it and his family. It was 400 feet long and 70 feet wide. Now that's kind of hard for you to understand how big that is. But if you can imagine a baseball diamond and you put 9 of them together, that's how big this boat was. That's pretty big, isn't it? And it was 45 feet high. And to make that a little bit easier to understand, if you've ever been to the Calvary Tower, that's how high it was. So it was pretty big, wasn't it? When it was done, he sealed it inside and out with pitch to keep out the water. Noah gathered together 2 of every sort of living creature on earth, except for the animals that lived in the water, because they weren't going to be hurt there. What a noise there was! What a commotion! Noah led them all into the safety of the ark. Last of all, he took his wife and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives to get on board. Then Noah himself entered and shut the big wooden door tight behind him. I bet there was lots of activity in that boat, wouldn't there be, with all the animals, and they wouldn't be quiet either. As they waited inside the ark, Noah and his wife, Noah's sons and their wives, and all the animals, tiny mice and giant elephants, timid sheep, fierce lions, creeping snakes, and proud eagles, they all waited. On the 7th day, Noah said, "Hush," and they heard the first drops of rain on the roof. The rain fell harder and harder until it seemed that a great waterfall had engulfed the ark. Have you ever been in a big storm? The earth cracked open and the waters gushed out in a huge fountain. The sky was as dark as night. Lightning flashed, thunder rolled as the water rose and the ark began to float. All the dry land on the earth was covered in water, and it still poured. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and all life perished except for the animals in the water and the animals and people on the ark. Now, do you know how much 40 days is? That's a whole month of January and 9 days into February. That's a long time. Do you think we could have a snowfall that long? That'd be lots of snow, wouldn't it? Eventually the rain stopped, but still the earth was covered in water. It remained flooded for 150 days while the ark drifted there, here and there, with no land in sight. Now, we've got 150 days, so that's 5 months. So January, February, March, April, May, that's a long time for them to be in the ark, isn't it? Waiting for the land to go get dry. But the Lord had not forgotten the ark and its precious cargo. He made the wind blow, and slowly the wind dried the earth. Soon the peaks of the mountain could be seen above the water, and on one of the peaks called Mount Ararat, the ark came to rest. See, it's sitting there, and there's some of the people, or the walruses in the water, because of course they weren't bothered by the flood. But the mountain was still just a tiny speck of land in the vast ocean. After another 40 days, so that's over a month yet, Noah set a dove to see if they could find a dry perch. But the dove came back. It could not find anywhere to rest, and Noah knew that it was not yet safe to let all the animals out of the ark. After another 7 days, so it's another week, Noah set the dove free again, and this time it came back with a twig of an olive branch in its beak. So Noah knew that the water was going down, but it still was not safe to venture out. After another 7 days, it's another week, he set the dove free, and this time it didn't come back at all. Now Noah knew that the land was dry and safe once more. Noah released all the animals from the ark, and the Lord spoke to him again. Never again will I destroy life. This is my promise to you. And if ever you are afraid there will be another great flood when it rains, look up to the sky. There you will see a rainbow, which will be a sign of a promise to you. Now go forth and fill the earth with life. So remember, when you see the rainbow, that's God promised to us that he wouldn't flood the earth again. Well, I'm going to read you another story this time, and this one's called The Donut Repair Club Helps Out. It was an exciting day for the Donut Repair Club. The donut man, Duncan the Donut, and the kids were rehearsing new songs to sing at their next concert. The Donut Repair Club sings songs to tell everyone that without Jesus, life is like a donut. There's a hole in the middle of your heart. They were rehearsing their last song when the donut man came in with an email. Look, everyone, we've been invited to help out at Shady Pines Nursing Home. They're having a picnic, and they'd like us to sing songs and spend time with the residents. Should we go? All the kids liked that. All of the kids let out a joyous yes. Everyone, that is, except for Drew, who shouted aloud, "No way!" "Why not, Drew?" said Shelby, who was standing next to him. "Old people are no fun," said Drew. "They sit around in wheelchairs and talk really loud. They watch boring TV and eat mushy food. I don't like nursing homes at all." "But Drew," said Shelby, "my grandmother is in a nursing home, and she isn't in a wheelchair. She eats the same food I do, and she's lots of fun." "It sounds like you've been outvoted, Drew. Wouldn't you come with us?" said the donut man. "I'll go, but I'm not going to like it," he said. He was being kind of pouty, wasn't he? As they all got ready to leave, Duncan came out of his box. "Help! Somebody help!" "What are you doing, Duncan?" said Michael. "I'm getting out my blankets and parkas so I don't freeze with all those cold people," he said. "Silly Duncan," laughed the donut man. "We're going to visit people who are old, not cold people. I don't think you need your parka." All of the kids got on their bikes and hurried over to Shady Pines to meet Mr. Thompson, the activity director. "Hi, Mr. Thompson," said the donut man. "We're so happy to be here, and we're looking forward to helping you with the picnic. Where do we start?" "Let me introduce you to our residents," said Mr. Thompson, "and then we'd like to hear some of your songs." "That sounds great, but it looks like we're missing someone." "Who isn't here?" said the donut man. "It's Drew," said Shelby. "Where could he be?" "I'll organize the search party," said Duncan. "Just let me find my walkie-talkies and my emergency megaphone and my maps and my—" "Why don't we start by walking back the way we came before we get out the heavy-duty supplies," suggested the donut man. As the donut man and Michael went out to look for Drew, Shelby and the rest of the Donut Repair Club helped Mr. Thompson pass out hot dogs and chips to the residents of Shady Pines. "I hope Drew is okay," said Shelby. Let's all say a prayer that God will help the donut man find him. Down the street, the donut man spotted a foot sticking out between some bushes. "Drew, is that you?" he asked. "What happened?" "I hit a bump in the sidewalk and my bike skidded under the bushes," he cried. "I yelled out for help, but nobody stopped." "We didn't hear you, Drew, but we're here to help you now," said the donut man as he picked Drew up and wiped away his tears. Michael pulled Drew's bike out of the bushes and the donut man checked him for injuries. "I think you'll be okay now," said the donut man. "We'll help you back to the Shady Pines and bandage your cuts." Once they arrived at Shady Pines, Mrs. Rollins, one of the residents, came over to see if she could help Drew. Mrs. Rollins had worked as a nurse before she moved to Shady Pines. "Shelby, tell me where... Shelby told me you'd been lost. Are you all right, Drew?" she asked. "Let me help you with your cuts." As Mrs. Rollins took Drew by the hand, she began to tell him stories about when she was a young girl. Once she had fallen out of a tree, another time she cut her hand, and while she made a go-kart with her friends, and another time she had been thrown by a horse she was riding. "You sure have had lots of adventures," Drew told Mrs. Rollins. "Can you tell me some more stories about when you were my age?" It wasn't long before every member of the Donut Repair Club was busy playing games with the residents and making treats to eat. Drew was having such a great time he couldn't believe it when the donut man said it was time to go. "Do we have to leave now? I'm having fun." "I don't want to go," Drew said. "Doing good can be lots of fun," said the donut man. "It makes Jesus happy when we help other people. That's why we should never get tired of doing good. It makes our heart feel full of joy when we do what Jesus tells us to do. It's just like filling the holes in the donuts." "You're right," said Drew. "I can't wait to come back." "Thank you for your help, Drew," said Mrs. Rollins. "Thank you," said Drew. Never become tired of doing good. 2 Thessalonians 3:13. So we can do good too, just like boys and girls, can't we? Well, thank you for listening. Bye for now.